We all know that feeling. Your phone starts freezing, apps crash, and nothing works right because you ignored that Update Now notification. Believe it or not, a country's legal system works the same way. If a nation relies on old rules without ever updating them to match modern life, the whole system starts to glitch. Back in 1950, India launched its own original operating system, the Constitution. It was a remarkably comprehensive legal framework drafted for a new nation. Let's just call it India OS 1.0. But society changes. To keep the country running smoothly over the decades, the creators built in a way to download software updates. In the Constitution, these updates are called amendments, or Rajyanga Savarana. Without these continuous updates, the core laws would crash against the reality of modern life. The Constitution was built with a specific ability to evolve. Let's look at how these updates actually work. First, you have new feature updates. These are amendments designed to give citizens more access and more rights. A perfect example is the 61st Amendment. For decades, you had to be 21 years old to vote in India. This update lowered the voting age to 18. With a single change to the code, the government instantly empowered millions of young citizens to step up and participate in choosing their leaders. But sometimes you don't need a new feature. You need a bug fix update to stop people from exploiting loopholes in the system. For a long time, there was a political bug. Ruling parties would create massive, bloated cabinets, handing out endless ministerial titles just to keep politicians happy and secure their loyalty. To fix this, Parliament passed the 91st Amendment. This placed a strict 15% limit on the total number of ministers allowed in the Lok Sabha, or a state assembly. These routine updates are essential maintenance. They keep the government from becoming too bloated, while ensuring the system remains accessible to the people who use it. Beyond features and bug fixes, the Constitution also requires social patches, updates written specifically to fix deep-rooted inequalities and ensure the system works fairly for everyone. This started right away with the very first amendment in 1951. It protected early land reforms, making it legally possible to take excess land from wealthy owners and distribute it to landless farmers. That early precedent set the stage for decades of updates, especially when it comes to refining the reservation system for marginalized communities. We see this in recent patches. The 102nd Amendment gave official constitutional status to the National Commission for Backward Classes, ensuring a permanent legal support system. Right after that, the 103rd Amendment added a 10% quota for economically weaker sections, addressing financial hardship directly. And the 104th Amendment ensured that guaranteed legislative representation for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes was extended for another 10 years. If developers ignored these societal bugs, the operating system would fail its most vulnerable users. These patches keep the promise of equality intact. But what happens when an update tries to rewrite the entire core code at once? In 1976, during the national emergency, Prime Minister Indira Gandhi's government passed a 42nd Amendment. It was such a massive overhaul of the nation's laws that it became known as the mini-constitution. It made permanent changes, like officially adding the words socialist and secular right into the preamble, but it also included highly controversial changes, like extending the term length of the Lok Sabha from 5 years to 6 years, allowing the government to hold on to power longer. Fortunately, a healthy operating system has an undo button. When a new government led by Morarji Desai took over, they passed the 44th Amendment in 1978, which immediately rolled the Lok Sabha term back down to 5 years. It proved that even when an update goes too far or introduces bad code, the democratic system has the built-in mechanics to review the damage and reverse it. We often speak about laws as if they are static words fixed on a page, but this framework was built with a specific mechanism to change. Because it can be modified, the core rules from 1950 remain relevant to a society that looks very different today. The continuous willingness to update the code, to run new Savarana, is exactly what keeps the republic functional, fair, and strong. The code is always being written. What major update do you think India needs next? Let us know in the comments below.